Hey everyone, it is Dr. Angela Cudger, and we are here for another Wellness Tribe check-in. In this check-in, we are going to be doing a live juicing demo. Now, as soon as you hop on here, let me know that you can hear me, let me know that you can see me, and let me know that everything's all good. In this live stream today, it is specifically for the purposes of understanding how to juice with a purpose. A lot of people look at green juice recipes and they say, that one sounds good. I think I'll try that one, right? Or, that one looks delicious. Maybe I'll try that one. But when you are doing a juicing recipe, any juicing recipe, you have to be specific about the ingredients that you put in order to get the benefits. Now, today I'm going to be teaching you specifically how to build a green juice, a base and accessories specifically to your body and your body's needs. And you'll see me kind of look down to try to do all of this broadcasting. Okay, great. She says she can hear me. She can see me. Lakita Cunningham says, I hear you and I see you. Yay! You guys might hear my smoke detector chirping in the background, but I promise they're going to change the battery out at some point during the week. So love and light. Hey, gorgeous, love and light. So I'm going to be sharing with you two things, right? So I'm going to do a juice demo. So I'm going to juice all my stuff here. But I want to make sure that you understand how to build a juice for your body. So you don't want to just grab any recipe because what you need is different from what I need, and what someone else needs may be different from what you need or what you desire. So make sure you share this out because I'm sure someone else needs this information. Additionally, if you hang on towards the end, right, I'm going to be sharing with you how to stretch your juice. You're like, what does that mean? How to double down on the nutrients and stretch it to give you so much more nutrient density and hydration than just the juice alone. So you want to make sure you're doing that. First things first, when we're talking about doing a juice, the first thing we want to understand is that whether we're doing juices, whether we're doing raw foods, whether we're doing smoothies, whether we're doing cooked food, doesn't matter what we're doing. You want to make sure that you understand that food is information, okay? So someone put that in the comments. Food is information, and we are always sending the body a message. With everything that we eat, whether we eat it raw or whether we eat it cooked, no matter what we're doing, what we choose to eat, where we get it from, and how we prepare it, all go into sending a message to the body as if you're literally writing a letter to tell your body what to do. So for example, cooked food changes the nutrients, right? The further we move away, right? The further we move away from being raw, wash, pick, grow, pick, wash, eat, right? The further we move away from that, the more we go towards boxes, bags, cans, and things like that, the more confusion the information is, right? So the more we move away from fresh options, the more confusing the information is. So you want to make sure that you understand that food is your truth, yes, and it is your medicine. So literally you can turn your kitchen and wherever you are in your life into a pharmacy, right? And I'm going to share with you guys how that works here in just a moment. So let's talk a little bit about the base before we start juicing this. In general, I try to do, when I'm going to do some kind of juice cleanse, my goal is to get a gallon of juice in a day. That's 4 quarts, right? So that's 4. Let me share with you. So that's 4 of these big jars in a day, okay? My goal is to get 4 of those of juice in, and then half a gallon or more of water. That's my specific need. Your need may be different. Now, because of not just the amount of juice that I'm going after, but I'm also looking at how much nutrients am I getting for the money I spend, because you're going to pay good money for great information, right? You're going to look at how you invest your time and your money when it comes to food. This is the most consistent and most comprehensive information you could ever give to your body. So you want to make sure that the message that you're sending to your body is the message that you want it to get. All right. So let's talk about it really quickly. She says food is the truth in all medicine. Yes, it is. All right. So let's talk about the base. When you're building out a base, your base, number one, put this in the comments, your base should always be green. Okay. And we'll talk about what to do when you're switching that up. But in general, your base should always be green. In that base, there needs to be specific things geared towards your purpose for juicing. Someone may want to juice for more energy. Someone may want to juice for better immunity. Someone may want to juice for clear skin. Someone may want to juice for to lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure, decrease stress, the effects of stress, right? Because we know that stress affects your hormones, stress affects your skin, stress affects your money if you let it, right? So stress affects relationships. It affects a lot of different things, and it affects several different body systems. So if you're juicing to make sure you decrease the effects of stress on your body, very, very smart to be able to do that. So when you're choosing a juice and when you're choosing a base, your base should consist of ingredients that are in alignment with why you need the juice. Don't just arbitrarily do it, because from a physical standpoint, you may be doing something great for your body and you may get a boost of energy. But from a deeper level, from a spiritual standpoint, from a metaphysical level, you are actually not setting an intention. So the intention of this particular juice, I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a homeschool mom. I've been that way since about 2016 or so. And one of the things that I always want to do is, as I've hired more people, there are more personalities, there are more perspectives, there are a lot more people to manage, a lot more moving parts in my company. I've gone from starting in like 2015 when I used to work, $30,000 a year, all the way up to making mid to high multiple six figures a year. There's a lot of moving parts in my business at this point. And so is the stress, right? So I am all about raising my vibration, getting my energy to stay high so that I'm massively productive. My focus is unshakable, and it's because of how I eat, all right? Because a lot of people are like, how did you get to be consistent? How did you get to grow like that? How did you do that? I had to be consistent, but I also had to pay attention to my body and the signs that my body was giving me. So if my body was giving me signs that I was either stressed or there was weight gain or all these different things, my hair used to be thin, right? All these different things used to be a part of it, and they no longer are, because I eat with purpose. I don't just arbitrarily sit and eat. I literally think about what this is going to do when I put it in my body. So from a spiritual standpoint, it's the same as praying. You wouldn't just pray without a purpose, right? That otherwise it's just gratitude, right? So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing actually has a point to it and has a purpose. And then your prayer is being grateful and setting the intention for that food to do what you're wanting it to do when it hits your body. Let me know that you guys understand that in the comments. So she says your base should always be green. Sheila says your base should always be green. Everything else. So think of your base, ladies and gentlemen, as your outfit. It's the top, it's the pants, it's your outfit. Anything else that you add besides a green vegetable base is an accessory. Put that in the comments. Anything you add outside of a green base is just an accessory. Think of it as an accessory to your outfit. So for example, my accessories are things like, I don't know if you guys can see this. So pineapple, lime, lemon, a ton of ginger. Those things are still in alignment with my purpose, but the majority of the things that I'm going to get into my body should be my base. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes, that's right. Okay. So does that make sense, y'all? Let me know if that makes sense. So you'll see, so this base it goes all the way across, right? So you'll see I've got red shard, these massive leaves of red shard. And red shard so mine is for stress relief. Mine is for cardiovascular protection. And I don't know if you know this, but every 37 seconds, someone passes away from cardiovascular or heart disease. If you are not getting greens in your diet, you better start getting them in, right? And what I'm teaching you today, you should be able to do this every day so that you can actually have access to this on a regular basis. Now, when I juice this for the purposes of spring, I'm going to store it in this big glass container that's got a spigot, because it's easier for me to access it that way in the fridge, okay? And so I can drink on this the majority of the day and finish it up, right? So And if I have any left over, I wake up to green juice already made. And so I can consistently eat and wake up and do all of those things. All right. So Swiss chard, red chard is one. It decreases cholesterol, automatically drops blood pressure. It balances out your hormones. It aids in weight loss. It's green, right? The next thing that I have is, it does some similar things, is parsley. So I have a ton of parsley that I'm going to juice today. And I always do, you always in your base want to do an entire bunch. So when you get, and you want to price this out too, because you want to see, I challenge you, if you haven't already before, to see how much money you spend on regular food versus stuff like this. Like, I can tell you a gallon of nutrient-dense juice that's going to keep me up, keep me focused, and keep me where I need to be probably cost me less than $15. No lie. The lemons were 15 cents a piece. The kale for the bunch was 89 cents. So I got two, right? The pineapple was 69 cents, right? So you want to make sure that in the grand scheme of things, when we're looking at what we're investing in our health, that we're actually spending money and we're getting a lot back for it, right? So Swiss chard, we've got parsley, a bunch of that. And I always do an entire head of celery, right? For so many different reasons. Celery, if you are a woman and you are not, and I challenge you, and I actually have celery seed extract and celery seed in peel form. As a woman, it is something that you just need in your arsenal, right? I don't think, do I have it? I don't know if I pulled it out back there, but I will show you guys before this is over some of the other things that I have back here to help you stretch this recipe so that you're like, some people say when they juice, they get tired, they feel run down, all these different things. It is because there are certain things that you need to put in it so that as your body is detoxing over a certain period of time, that you're still feeling like you can function. And that's a huge deal, to being able to consistently do this for 5 days, 7 days, 10 days. And then when you're transitioning back, you never go back to just food. You work your system back up just like you work your system down, right? So when you're starting something like this, it's good to maybe do some juices and waters and teas before noon. You never want to actually chew before noon ever, because if you do, your body is naturally in a detox state when you go to sleep. We change that by taking all of that energy when we wake up in the morning and chew food. Or your body's in a state where it just needs more hydration when you wake up so that it can continue this process. When we drink things like coffees or caffeinated teas and those different kinds of beverages, we completely throw our system off. So you want to make sure that that's not what you're doing and that you're actually eating for purpose. So let me get one thing real quick. So when you're done, you want to be able to store these like this, right? So when I first do the juice, I actually will do a huge one of these in the morning, and then I'll either store it in here. But if you're going somewhere by yourself, you want it to be like this, okay? And I'll show you. People always ask me, how did you get that to be so dark green? It's because of the things that I put in to actually stretch it. So give me just a second. Okay. All right, so let's start juicing. All right, so now that you know about your base, the things that you want to do after that is your accessories. Now, when you're accessorizing, ladies, remember, accessories have a lot to do with your taste, right? What do you like? How does it look with that particular top? You know, what is it? Are these earrings gonna hang right? So accessories have a lot to do with your personal taste. Think of it that way when you're doing your juice. Don't think about, ew, I don't like the way kale tastes, or ew, I don't like the way whatever tastes. Your base is for your physical body. It's the thing that you're trying to solve. So your base needs to make sense for the purpose of juicing. Your accessories go with taste. So do you want apples? Do you want lemon? Do you want some cayenne? Do you want some ginger? Do you want garlic? What is the taste that you want it to do? And then look at, okay, a bonus is that those things that you put in actually help with these things too, okay? you want to eventually get to the point where you're just doing a green vegetable juice. And for those of you who have had issues with stress in the past, you've had issues with high blood pressure, and you're on like medications and things like that, please be careful, because when you're juicing, for example, and we teach this at Legacy for those of you who are there, for example, beets have the ability to drop your blood pressure by several points within minutes. So you don't want to double down on beets in your diet because you try to fight high blood pressure and you're also taking medication. Not a good idea, okay? So eating well can still go wrong. You want to make sure that you are taking the proper precautions, or you get with a Legacy health coach to actually teach you or help you with these different things. If you're on different things, you definitely want to be careful. Same thing with some of these greens. They have the ability to drop your blood sugar level very, very quickly when they're in juice form. So you really want to be careful if you're someone who is diabetic, right? Because low blood sugar is worse than high blood sugar, okay? Both of them have issues, but you never want your blood sugar to be too low, okay? So let's start juicing, y'all. So for those of you who, and so I have, let me take this off here. I actually have, what juicer is this? This is, I forget the name of it, you guys, but this is a slow auger juicer. Let me say a word about juicers. Number one, the first thing you need to know about a juicer is you don't need one. All right, that's rule number one. You do not need a juicer to juice. We also have back here, I don't know if you guys can see the base, there's a Vitamix. The Vitamix is a lifesaver, and you can actually juice through the Vitamix. You can actually turn it up, because all you're trying to do is break these pieces up to get the juice out. In reality, the quickest way to juice is through the blender. And then you put a nut milk, a bag, over a pot or something, wherever you want to collect your juice in. We put it over this, in this case, if I were doing it that way. And then you just pour the whole smoothie that you just made in there into the bag and then squeeze the juice out. That's the number one way to juice, the fastest way to juice. You can pretty much do a gallon of juice in 30 to 45 minutes in the blender. So don't think that you actually need a juicer. Now, that being said, you want to make sure that you're aware of the energy on your food, right? So you know where your food comes from. But when you blend things, when you saute, when you fricassee, when you fry, when you do all these different things, you change the energy of the food. And so if you can get a slow auger juicer, it's a slower process. It's a drier process, but it yields the most juice, and it actually does the least changing of the energy of the food. I hope that makes sense. She says, hi, I just want to get myself fit and healthy. Excellent. Hey, Goddess, how are you? All right, you guys, let's do it. So I'm going to start with my base stuff first, right? And I hope y'all can see this. Okay, great. And so I just literally turned this on. And with the slow auger juicer, I literally just put this in here and you'll hear it crushing it up, right? So there's two areas. Let me see if you guys can see this. All right, let me move this over. Right. So there are two areas here, right? There is this area with the bag. It's a bowl with the bag, and you'll see the pulp come out, right? And then there is this juice, this area with the juice, right? I always put a bag over this because I want to collect my pulp to use later, okay? So I hope that makes sense. And then I literally just juice it all in. You don't have to mix this in any special kind of way or anything like that. You really just want to get it done, okay? So while this is going, another thing that I want to teach you guys about is what it means to start rearranging and changing your plate. Now, obviously, we've all kind of been at home for an extended period of time. And by now, you see that you have the ability to start rearranging and changing your plate and doing some things like that. When it comes to chewing food versus having food that it has been juiced or eating raw, and tomorrow we're going to have somebody do a raw food demo live, so you get the information on that as well. But when it comes to doing this, the main thing you want to realize, besides the health benefits, I cannot stress enough the metaphysical and spiritual benefits, the closeness of being to earth, the creation of earth, right? God, right? All of these different things, or whatever deity you hold dear. Eating the food, eating the medicine that was already put here for your body to be able to heal actually puts you in a place to have a clearer thought process, so that during your meditation, you are actually able to access a lot of different things. That has been invaluable to my business, right? And so eating is something that not only stretches it's something that happens from your plate and from your cup, but it is also something that happens that reaches your wallet, right? It reaches your purpose. It reaches a lot of different things. So the confidence to be able to move forward in business and in a lot of different opportunities came as a result of changing my nutrition, came as a result of me being aware of how to actually change my nutrition, okay? Let me see real quickly. Let's see. She says, hello. Hey, Andrea. Sheila says, thank you so much. I never heard of changing the energy. Yes, anything we do to the food after we pull it out of the ground changes the energy. It's like, let me do this. It's like not wanting somebody. How many of you have ever had somebody cook your food and they were mad? Right? Or how many of you have ever been around someone who loves to cook? They love food. They love everything about it. And you love to eat their food. Not just because it seems like they're a good cook, but it's because they just love what they do when it comes to food. That changes anything we do to food changes the energy of it. And so we want to make sure we're aware of that. So that I'm not doing like one type of juice at a time and it naturally mixes up, I'm going to start putting some different things in here, right? It doesn't matter how you do your base or how you mix your base together. It only matters that you actually get all of the base pieces in and get those done and then start accessorizing, okay? So the same thing you do when you get up and you get dressed or whatever you're doing, you want to make sure that it's a part of your base, right? So the base, for those of you who are just joining us, is, let me stop real quick. The base is red chard, right? So these massive leaves of red chard. It is parsley, huge bunch of parsley. We did an entire head of celery, and I am going to do 2 bunches of kale. And then underneath all this is one of those those really, really long cucumbers. That's what this is, okay? And so you're just gonna rough chop it and get it all in and get it going. That's all you wanna do. Now, beyond this though, like I said, you want your base to make sense for your health, okay? You want your base to make sense for what you want your body to do, right? So, when it comes to, Marie says the best tasting food, yeah. And then when it comes to your accessories, that's when you're talking about like your sweet fruits, your ginger, garlic, all those different things go into your accessories. But those are not your base. Your base has everything to do with your health and your health goals. And it should always, 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 beyond the shadow of a doubt, it should always be green. So I'm going to show you guys this here real quick. As soon as the kale goes through. So this is a dryer process, and I'm going to show you the pulp. If you have a juicer, let me know what kind of juicer you actually have. Let me know in the comments what kind of juicer you have. And now, a couple things. So number one, if you are, berries don't typically juice well. Pears don't typically juice well. What other ones? Plums don't juice well. Peaches, those don't typically juice very well unless you get them extremely, extremely ripe. Otherwise, they just don't juice all that well, right? And so we want to be aware of that. Okay? So when you're picking out your sweet fruits and things that you want to save those things that you really like that don't juice well. Eat those things alone. So, for example, another one, like a peach doesn't give a lot of juice. You want to eat that alone, right? Just take your time between juice if you need to chew on those accessories or chew on those things that you're like, this doesn't juice well. but I still want it, right? So chew on it, right? Beyond that, the other thing that I want to share with you is if you're doing sweet fruits and different things in between, go for mono meals. The reason why you want to, and what I mean by mono meals, and I see your question, Camilla. I'm going to get to it in just a second. What I mean by mono meals is a mono meal is you eating just one thing. So like a mono meal for me would be an entire pineapple, or a mono meal for me would be like the other night for dinner, I literally had an entire cantaloupe, right? So a mono meal is always going to be one thing at a time, just one thing on your plate, and you eat enough of that thing to fill you up or satiate you. When you're eating raw and your food's not mixed with anything cooked, your body sends a signal to your brain fast, in a more, not faster, but in a more efficient way to let your body know that you're full. When food is cooked, the energy of food being cooked naturally brings a fullness to the mouth. So think about mashed potatoes versus juice. You're naturally going to have a fullness in your mouth when you eat something that's been cooked, that's been mashed, that's been kind of brought together and some other elements added. And so because of that, it takes the stomach might tell the brain, or the brain might tell the stomach we're full, but in reality, you really haven't gotten any real nutrients. You're going to get a lot more nutrients in. And so your body is going, that feedback mechanism from your brain to your stomach to say, I'm full, stop eating. That works much more efficiently when you're eating raw. All right. So I'm going to show you guys this in just a minute. I'm going to show you the pulp and the actual juice, because we're going to dump it in the container over here. So Camilla says, so really quickly, let me get to the questions. Camilla says, what's your opinion on only consuming alkaline foods? What about proper food combining? Are these legit concerns? Camilla, that's a very good question. So here's what I want you to be aware of. When you are eating raw food, yes, food combining is a concern. And this is why, Camilla, you want to make sure when you're juicing, no. And I'm telling you why. It's not combining. So me combining kale with pineapple juice, not a concern. It's all juice. It's all available. It's all brought to the same level. When we're talking about food combining, and when we're talking about food combining in such a way that we digest properly, we want to make sure that we're looking at what's on the plate for a couple different reasons. Number one, because meat is going to digest at a different rate from, say, a carbohydrate, right? Or fruits in general are going to digest at a different rate from vegetables, because they still have the proteinous complexes inside of them. There's still the roughage there. There's still fiber there, right? When all of those things are, when the matter of it is different, meaning this one has protein, that one has fiber, this one has, carbohydrates and all this other stuff, then you want to be aware of food combining and combining properly. So yes, Camilla, that does matter. For overall optimal gut health, food combining definitely matters. Now, when you juice everything, you make it absolutely available to your body immediately. You make it available to the acids in your stomach, and you make it available to the entire environment of your body immediately. There's no protein in it, right? You've removed all of that. There's no fiber in it, or there are minuscule amounts, too little to even worry about combining and what matters. Additionally, one of the things I want to say is, in addition to that, you want to make sure that you're aware of the fact that some green vegetables and things like pineapples actually increase the hydrochloric acid in the stomach. And so it speeds up digestion. It's like taking a digestive enzyme or a digestive aid. And so putting these things together, not only for me, will reduce my stress. And obviously juices and things like that are going to be tailored to everyone's body. But putting these things together not only boosts my cardiovascular health, but it also energizes my gut, and it gets my stomach and the acids in my stomach to where they churn things up quickly. So I'm never tired, and food's not sitting and food doesn't go bad like in my belly. So I think that's the main reason for that. Thanks for that question, Camilla. So let's go to another one. She says, how many times a week would you do a mono meal? So I try to do mono meals on a weekly basis. Honestly, for me, because I'm so busy, Yvette, I typically do mono meals once or twice a day. Okay. And that's why I said I'm going to show you guys how to stretch this juice in nutrient density, not in amount, but in nutrient. You can stretch it in amount too. I'll show you that too. But in nutrient density, you can stretch it so that when I sit and eat an entire bowl of cantaloupe, or when I sit and eat half of a watermelon, mono meal, my body just plows right through it because my day is so busy, right? And so it works for me, right? And juicing and all those things work for me too. So really quickly, so for me, Yvette, I do mono meals once or twice a day, okay? Depending on how I'm feeling, all right? Other than that, I do IF. So I'm gonna show you guys this real quick. Let me take this comment. All right, so that's our pulp. It is pretty dry. It's like dry grass, right? Y'all see my jacked up nails, right? These are actually my real nails, right? Surprisingly. So I can't just like take mine off like everybody else. They're actually my nails. And I get them covered. And my nails actually grow like this as a result of like how I eat. And then this is my hair, right? You guys see I'm sweating, right? Because I'm a normal person. But this is my hair. So years ago, my hair would never grow. And now in less than 10 years, it's like it's mid hip for me, right? So keep that. It's because of how I eat. It's because of what I consume. It's because of all these different things, right? And I sweat like a normal person. I sweat like a normal person would sweat, right? Whether it's hot or not, I sweat like a normal person because my body is properly hydrated. I'll say it like that. So she says, what if you are transitioning into veganism, vegetarianism lifestyle? That's a good idea. Juicing is a great way to start resetting for when you are actually doing that, Lois. And when you're doing, and Lois, we teach us that legacy. So if you haven't gotten to that module yet, you certainly will. It literally takes weeks to transition off. You never, when you see people doing these challenges where they're just like, oh, I guess I'll be vegan if you're doing it for longer than 7 days, you went from straight like standard American diet to straight veganism or whatever for 7, 10 or whatever days, you run the risk of actually throwing your body off. This is one of the reasons why some vegans end up with their hair falling out. Some vegans end up with their nails being brittle. Some vegans end up with skin issues, sunken eyes. They end up with all these issues because they didn't consider that their body was thriving off of meat, potatoes, and all these different things. And it doesn't mean that they can't properly transition, but you have to slowly take your body off those things. And likewise, when you're coming off of it, you have to slowly bring your body back to where it is. So let me show you this juice, right? So, and I'm going to try not to spill this. All right. So this is the first round of juice, right? And so I'm going to drop it in my container. And I keep the head on my juice. So you'll see that thick, I don't know if you guys can see that thick kind of foamy stuff in there. I keep that, it's called a head, right? Sometimes you'll see a head like on a beer or something like that, right? It's called the head of it. I actually like to keep that, right? So I don't get rid of that because there's still a lot of nutrients in that, right? And then I'm just gonna set this back up, and then we're gonna keep going. So let me run to the comments real quick. She says, "How long will a mono meal keep me? It'll keep me satisfied until my next meal because I eat enough of it." Sheila says, is frozen for anyone else? No. Is anybody frozen? So it says they are beautiful. My hair is beautiful. My nails are beautiful. What? Shawana says, I literally just started IF today. Good. She says, I didn't have the greatest thoughts about it, but after venturing through this module with Legacy and Cohort 7, I understand more about it. Yes. IF is the #1 way to stay lean year-round. Like IF is where you're going to get your high school body back if you want it, right? All right, so let's keep going real quick, and then I'm going to share with you guys how to extend your stuff out, right? So let's finish up this base because the base is like the biggest part. The majority of it is going to be your base, right? So she says the video is freezing. Is the video freezing for anybody? Let me know. If it's freezing, let me know and I'll go out and come back in. Let me see. Is anybody else freezing? Somebody let me know in the comments if the feed is good, right? She says, I have to leave out and go back in. Got it. Okay, so hopefully people will go out and come back in. And if you do, is it freezing? Yes. Yes. Oh, that sucks, you guys. I'm so sorry. Let's see here. Mine is, but I'm on a cell phone. Yeah, me too. It's driving me crazy. Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys. If I can't go out and come back in, but can you guys go out and come back in? Hey, Kanita Siobhan, thanks for joining me. All right, so go out, come back in and share it out and see if that helps. Please, please go out, come back in and see if that helps, you guys. She says, yes, I do. I want my high school body back. The IF is the way you get it. Hands down. IF is the way you get it. She says, it's on myself. She says, hey, Queen, I've been living the IF life for a year now. Yes, you are correct. It is the number one way to get that fierce. Yeah, it's the number one way to get your body back to where it was, right? And yes, it is freezing. Okay, great. We missed out. We missed a lot. I'm so sorry. I didn't add anything else, you guys. I'm kind of waiting for people to pop back in. I can see the numbers and things like that. So when you hop back in here, let me know if the video is fine. If anything, if it's still having issues, just let me know, you guys. Okay. She said it's off and on. Okay. So I'm gonna keep going, and then I'm gonna make sure I teach you guys how to extend this. Okay. So is it better now? Let me know it's better now. I will continue. It will continue to freeze, even going out, coming in. Damn, I'm so sorry. I don't know why it's freezing, though. I have no idea why it's freezing. I'm so sorry. Let me see here. Okay. Well, you guys, I'm sorry if it's freezing. I'm hoping that the recording will still be really, really good. Rochelle says it's better. Yay! I'm hoping that it's a combination of all of our internets that is acting up, right? But please share this back out as soon as you come back in here, because you definitely don't want to miss me teaching you how to extend your actual juice, right? So beyond that, I'm just gonna keep sharing, okay? So she says, yes, it's better. Yes, it's on and off, but I hear you perfectly. Okay, great. The information is the most important. All right, cool. All right, she says, yes, it's better. Yes. Okay, great, you guys. And I know it's a little bit delayed, so you want to get your base in. Do not, when you're doing your base, you see how I'm keeping the stem? When you're doing anything with your base, don't remove seeds. When you're juicing, period. Let me say this. When you're juicing, period, don't remove seeds. Don't remove stems. Don't remove any of those things. Clean everything properly and juice it all together. Don't remove the green tops of your berries. Don't do any of those things. Keep those things. You can take out the little twig at the top of an apple if you don't want that, but it doesn't matter because the machine's going to catch everything and the blender's going to catch it all when you strain it out, okay? So I hope that makes sense. She says it cleared up for me. She says, what type of juicer are you using? This is, I knew somebody was going to ask. Let me see, girl. The name is on it somewhere. Oh, yeah, there's a name. Hold on. This is the Omega. It's the slow auger juicer by Omega. And Omega has a bunch of different ones, but this is the slow one. This is the slow auger one. So yeah. So I just move this around so that it'll strain right. All right, let's keep going and finish up this base. Beyond that, like I said, don't take anything out. Keep it all. Keep it all. Keep it all. It's all food. It's all nutrient dense. Keep every single bit of it. Okay. In addition to that, so here's how you want to look at this. Like I said, when you're juicing, you want to have a purpose. Don't just arbitrarily do it. Have a purpose, set your intention, make it your base. Even if you're doing this on a daily basis, your base should still make sense, right? You get up on a daily basis and you choose a base of clothing. You're either going to wear a top and some pants, or you're going to wear a dress or whatever, but you're going to do what you need to do to make sure that you have a base, okay? And then beyond that, you add accessories. So are you going to do earrings today? Are you going to do, other things today? But make sure that whatever your base, whatever you're doing, it makes sense, okay? In the comments, she says, what type? Okay, good. So let me know if you guys have any other questions about anything as I finish up this base. And then we're going to do, I'm actually going to start some of these accessories because I want to actually get this all done. And so you literally can just drop it all in and keep it moving. So I have ginger in here. I use a lot of ginger. So my juices tend to be very, very spicy. Very, very spicy. And this machine actually keeps things, warm. So you want to make sure that as you're doing this, you actually get it all in, get it all done, get it all moved, right? Any questions about this? Any other questions? Were there any questions that I missed, y'all? Let me see real quick. Once we started freezing, people stopped questioning. I'm so sorry. So she says, cohort 8, never heard of mono meals, but I do this sometimes. Yes, Shalita. Mono meals are you choosing one thing on your plate to eat. I'm glad I saw that. So one of the best mono meals that you could ever eat is a watermelon. You can juice it, juice the rind. The watermelon is probably like the most bang you're ever going to get for your buck in terms of juicing, hydration, nutrition, right? You want to make sure you're in the summertime when they're in season. You want to make sure that you're getting those in on a regular basis, right? As long as you don't have any issues with blood sugar levels and things like that, you can definitely go ahead and juice or use a watermelon. Okay. Any questions about anything? I'm trying to make sure that I'm paying attention. It's more difficult to do this, y'all, than I thought, but I love it. So let's see here. Awesome. All right. Cool. All right. So let's finish up with the base. Get things moving. Now, there are a number of things you can do with your pulp. The pulp can actually be used to make cookies. You can compost it. Some people make superfood powders out of it. I don't usually do anything with the pulp. I kind of just, maybe I'm bad about that, but I don't have a compost. I live, third floor of where I'm living. My life is pretty swift and efficient. So I don't compost or I don't grow food anymore. I used to. I actually used to grow food indoors, a lot of food actually. But I don't do that anymore, right? I switched my lifestyle up to grow a bigger business, right? So you'll see that I live, look how I'm sweating. Wow. So you'll see that I live, pretty efficiently, right? So that I can actually, because of that, I've been able to put, 70 to 80% of revenue back into my business so that it consistently grows, right? And that's one of the reasons why it's grown so much, right? Because I'm not spending the money on other things. She says, during the summertime, I'm mono meal on watermelon. Yes, you got a mono meal on watermelon. Melons in general are excellent for mono meals, right? They're excellent for mono meals. So you want to make sure that you are getting as many of those in as you possibly can for hydration. Let me see here. She says, I am coming in late. I will watch the replay. Yes. Definitely go back and watch the replay. She says intermittent fasting. Yeah, whoever said they didn't know what IF was. She says, yes, watermelon helped my lupus. I only eat seed. Yes, so you got to make sure you're getting just seeded watermelon, right? Never want to eat seedless fruit. If you can avoid seedless fruit, please avoid seedless fruit. It is not a necessary convenience. It is a convenience that they offer to us here in the States, but it is at the risk of your health, right? A tremendous risk to your health, right? You do not want modified food that is essentially sterile, right? Your food, your fruits should have seeds. That's what classifies an item as a fruit. So you want to make sure yours has some seeds in it, okay? So we're almost done with the second round. And when you're doing this, like the head of this actually gets pretty thick. So you'll have to like stir it around to get all of the juice out of it. I think we're done with the second round. So let's bring our juice back. See how green that is? All right. And this is how mine shows up. Yes, seeds only for your fruit. Seeds only. Seeds only. Right? And again, I'll show you the pulp. Like I said, you can always use this. You can spread this out on a cookie sheet in a stove and completely dry it out and put it like on, you can dehydrate it. So it needs to be like on a super low setting on a stove, and then it will dry out in a matter of moments, like minutes, really. And then from there, you can food process it to blend it down and make it into a green powder if that's what you're choosing to do with it, right? So you definitely can continue to use every single part of the food, right? All right. Let's finish up. Any questions? She says, do your fruits and vegetables have to be organic? That's a very good question. And the answer is yes, 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 1,000 times yes. However, you can save a little bit of money, right? So a couple of things you can do with that. You can, it may not be worth it though. I don't know. It's up to you. It depends on your schedule. However, I will say this. Yes, it needs to be organic if you're juicing. Hands down, period, point blank. The last thing you want in your juice is pesticides. Last thing you want in your juice is, she says, does your juice, your fruits and vegetables need to be organic? Yes. The last thing you want in your juice is pesticides. You don't want that, especially if you're doing a large amount of juice, like a gallon. No, it definitely needs to be organic. If for some reason you don't know which ones, there are some that don't necessarily have to be. If you're not going to consume the skin of something. So for example, no one is going to ever eat pineapple skin, right? Who eats pineapple skin? Nobody, right? Like nobody eats pineapple skin. You can, I guess, but I wouldn't, right? Won't be as comfortable. You're never going to consume pineapple skin. You can buy those non-organic, right? You still need to clean them properly, but you can buy them non-organic. Apples, more than likely, people are going to eat the skin of an apple. Kids are going to eat the skin of an apple. It needs to be organic. It needs to be organic. Yeah. And then if you're trying to figure out which ones are dirty, there are certain fruits and vegetables that are always dirty if you don't buy them organic. They are 100% of the time will have pesticides in them. And they call those the dirty dozen. So you can probably Google that. We teach it in Legacy and they get like a printout of it as well. So dirty dozen, and then there's the clean 15, the ones that are less likely to have pesticides, and those you don't necessarily have to buy organic. If you don't want to buy every single thing organic, the clean 15 are the ones that you want to say, okay, from this list, these are, so that's dirty dozen and clean 15. All right. So really quickly, Shalita says, oh, wow, I do this as well. I don't eat after 8 p.m. I don't eat after 8 p.m. to noon, only consume lime water and herbs. So for me, I usually am up working late. My day goes long, right? So I work very long days and I have the energy to do that. Additionally, I'm working on different things. So when people say, oh, why are you up working late? Sometimes I'm working on metaphysical things, right? Like you got to keep in mind, I run a high multiple 6-figure business. I run a full team, several full teams, from marketing to enrollment to staff to administrators. So I run an entire teams for my business. And then additionally, I'm in school for a second doctorate degree. And then I'm a homeschool parent. So my day is going to shift, right? My day and the things that I focus on are going to shift. And so I'm usually up late. If I want everything done, I'm up late. It just is what it is. But for me, I don't necessarily stop eating, but I do stop chewing after a certain time, right? She says, or banana skin. Exactly. No one's going to eat banana skin, right, Yolanda? That's funny. She says, what do you use to clean your fruits and vegetables? Excellent, excellent, excellent question. So, Camilla, so for me, I usually use white vinegar and water, a mix of the two. You can use these to make a cleanse, like an astringent kind of spray for your food. I have seen people use hydrogen peroxide, like 3%, and they dilute it. Like say, for instance, if I have my two the two sinks here, the two sides of the sink, I guess it's more difficult if you just got one, but we have two. And so you can put one with diluted peroxide and water, and then another side with just plain water. But the thing about that is, if you douse your food in peroxide, then you want to make sure you get all that peroxide off of your food, right? So you got to have a drying food mat and all those different things. So just different ways to do it. Okay. All right. I hope that makes sense. So any questions? Let me see here. Any more questions? Yes. Dirty dozen. Yep. And clean 15. Yep. I'm looking at y'all's comments. Yep. Dirty dozen and clean 15. So the dirty dozen are the ones that are more than likely 100% of the time going to have pesticides. They are grown with pesticides, period, right? Typically GMO stuff too as well. And those are two different things. Organic, non-organic, and GMO. Those are three different categories, right? Just because something is organic doesn't mean it's not non-GMO. Keep that in mind. Just because something is organic doesn't mean that it's non-GMO. That's not what that means. Organic means, organic or inorganic means with or without pesticides. GMO means it's done from a non-natural means. It's not naturally occurring in nature. That's genetically modified. So you can get organic produce that is also GMO. Got it? I hope that makes sense. Because a lot of people get that mixed up. They're like, oh, it's organic, it's great. And it's like, that doesn't naturally occur in nature. I would not juice it and put it in my body. She says, how long should you do the soak? So literally, Rochelle, that's a very good question. Literally put the food into the water, shake it off, put it into the next one, and then shake it off and dry it off. I hope that helps. She says, I am going to have a watch party later. Thank you. Yeah, Tressa, this is good shit. It's good stuff. Sorry. All right. So she says, what are the dirty 7 and clean 15 veg? No, it's dirty dozen and clean 15. And that's Googleable. Like that's not necessarily new information. That's Googleable. Yeah, that's Googleable. So yeah, you're welcome, Rochelle. All right. So I'm almost done with my base. And then I'm going to start. The only thing I'll say is once you're almost done with your base, or once you're done with your base, you want to make sure that you actually, I'm trying to clean my hands off. You want to make sure that you actually start mixing in the soft fruits. If you're blending this and you're straining it out after the blender, or if you are putting it through the slow auger juicer, you'll notice that the soft stuff kind of gets clogged up, right? So you want to make sure that when you're doing this, you're starting to mix the greens in with the soft stuff. So that's what you're going to start seeing me do now, since I'm almost done. And then if it looks like your soft stuff, like apples, start to clog it up, especially if you take the skin off. Pineapples will start to clog it up, right? So if that starts to happen, you want to make sure that you save root things for last. Ginger, turmeric root, right? You want to make sure you save those things for last. And then you also want to make sure you do things like carrots. So you might see me at the end, if it gets stuck, I'll put one carrot in just to clean it all out, because the carrot is root, it's coarse, and it will literally go through and clean out the juicer, right? At least that's what I found that's been beneficial. I don't know. Has anybody else found anything else that to be beneficial that way, right? Make sure you guys share this out so that other people can get the information, right? Make sure other people can get it. The people that share the most get the most, right? Isn't that what Trevor said the other night? All right. They get gifted the most. Okay. So now you're going to see me mix this with my accessories, right? And like I said, the accessories are more for taste. They are more for your taste of how, she says, can we find clean 15 online? You should be able to find both clean 15 and dirty dozen. Should be able to find both of those online. Should be able to find both of those online. All right. Any questions? Any other questions about anything? Let's see here. Okay, cool. All right. We are almost done, y'all. And then I'm going to move this over and I'm going to show you guys how to extend your juice, because that's the best part to this. Because a lot of people start juicing, and a lot of people will start juicing and they'll say after the first few days, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I don't have enough energy, and all these different things. And it's because they don't know that they've got to put more nutrition into it, especially if you go straight off of food onto juice, right? Especially if you go straight off of food onto juice, okay? So you want to make sure that when you're doing this, how you do it actually matters, right? How you actually do this matters, okay? All right, let's see here. Let me know if you guys have any more questions. All right. So over the course of an hour, like if I wasn't talking and doing all of that, I'd be done with this by now. I can usually get a gallon done in about 30 to 45 minutes in the morning, depending on what I'm making. Obviously, the more things that I add to my base, the longer it's going to take me to juice. But in general, I can get an entire gallon for the day in a very, very short period of time. And so here's what I typically do. I'll get up in the morning. I'll answer your question in just a minute, Lois. I'll get up in the morning, and typically my routine consists of water, and I usually do plain water. Some people do with lemon. Everybody's different. So water is what I usually do, plain water, room temperature. I don't necessarily do cold things except juice. I like that cold. And then besides the plain water, then I will go into my meditation. And with my meditation, typically I've been meditating for years, so I can get deep relatively quickly. Some people can't. And getting deep into a meditation on a regular basis to manifest what you want is something that we teach in the business mastermind that I do for people at Legacy. And beyond that, though, one of the things that I do when I get up in the morning, besides that and the yoga, and I do all of this in my room. I don't even come out of my room. I don't even greet the day, right? I don't come see nobody outside of my room until the stuff for me is done. And the first thing I do when I come out of my room is I juice. That's the first thing that I do. So I'm still doing stuff for me when I first come out. I'm not tending to no kids. I'm not going to be that person. That's not me, because I am much, much better for them or the family when I take care of me first. Got it? So I start this at 5 a.m., right? I get up and I do my meditations and all that stuff at 5 a.m. I'm typically in bed, because I know you guys are probably like, well, when do you sleep? I'm typically in bed by 11. So I don't sleep long. And in most cases, I'm up by 3 or 4 a.m. and I will sit there, lay there or whatever until I get up and start doing my meditation and things like that. Since I am back in school, my alarm for me to do the next module for my coursework is at 7 a.m. So I'll get up, do my yoga and everything between 5 and 6 and all those things like that, study, finish up my schoolwork for my personal self at about 7 a.m. And then that's it. My day is already done before 7 or 8 a.m. The stuff for me that's most important for me is at the top of my day. Lois says, how long does your juicing last? Can you store for the next day? Yes, you can. So, and Lois, it totally depends. It totally depends. Hey, Anita Gita Peterkin. It totally depends. When you are, hang tight, let me move this around. When you are doing a slow auger juicer, the enzymes and all of the good stuff that you have access to is usually good for about 24 hours. So I will drink some of this today, and then I will store the rest of it, and then drink it during the day tomorrow, and then I'm done. So it's good up until about 4 or 5 p.m. tomorrow. Can I drink it after that? Sure. I just won't have access to the great nutrients and enzymes and all those things with just the juice alone. But I'm going to show you what to actually put in it, so that you stretch it and make it good. All right. So that's a very, very good question. Yeah, I do meditation, breath work, all that stuff happens. For me, it happens in the morning. Like I can't skip that. I do altar work in the morning. I do prayer, altar work, meditations, candle work. I do all those things in the morning, right? And those things have intentions set and tied to them. So I do them a certain way. And it doesn't even matter if I'm traveling or doing anything. It's the same. I try not to break my routine. All right, so I'm almost done, you guys. Thank you so much for sticking in here with me. Thanks so much. We're almost done. Almost done. Are there any more questions? I don't want this to run over. I think this is our third set. And then I'm going to stop and I'm going to share with you guys, because I'm almost done, so I can do that off camera. I'm going to share with you guys what to do to extend it, okay? So hang in with me, right? Okay, cool. All right, cool. So I'm going to stop right here. So I only have another leaf of shard and a little bit of other stuff. So I'm going to leave that right there, and I'm going to start cleaning up, and then I'm going to share with you guys how to extend your juice, how to extend not just the life of the juice, but the nutrients in the juice as well. So give me just a moment. While I'm cleaning up, you guys just put any questions you have like in the comments, and I swear I will get to them. All right, this is the third round. So it's full. That's why it didn't drain. And like I said, I like to keep as much of the head of this as possible. I like it. Some people don't like that thickness or whatever, that fullness in their juice, but I love it. I try to keep as much of it as possible. All right. All right. So you're gonna see me clean up real quick. All right, I'm gonna finish this up probably off camera, but I do want to go ahead and share with you guys, and this is actually tempered glass. So for those of you who cut on a cutting board and things like that, that's another thing you want to be aware of. Your cutting board. Let me tell you guys about this real quick, because I know some people, they swear by a cutting board, and I don't do that. So your cutting board, or what you're cutting your fruits and vegetables on, this was like a marbled, it's a marble design tempered glass. So you want to make sure that you're cutting on something and you're using as much glass as possible. Okay, storing the juice in glass, right? Cutting on glass. Don't cut on plastic. Don't cut on wood. Don't cut on anything that the knife can actually cut through. If your knife can make cuts on your board, then bacteria can actually live in those little cuts and things like that. So you definitely want to be aware of that, and just don't do it. Just don't do it. All right. So I just had a little bit left, and I'm gonna juice that later. But really quickly, I'm going to share with you guys. I'm going to wash my hands, and then I'm going to share with you really quickly how to actually extend your juice. Okay. All right. I'm going to move that. There are a few things behind me. Let's do this like this for just a minute. All right. So how do you extend your ish? I'm glad you asked. All right. So there's a few things you want to be aware of. So when I juice, I'm looking for my juice. Like I said, mine is for stress relief, cardiovascular health, system-wide things. And so it is imperative to me that I can stay focused, that I can stay functional, and that I can stay hydrated. A lot of people who are entrepreneurs tend to skip their water. They tend to be a little bit more constipated than other people because they're skipping their water. And because the gut has issues, remember, a large amount of your immunity and different things live in your gut, right? And so because these different areas of their body are not doing and functioning on a regular basis like they need to be building a juice or something that extends the life of their business, or that extends their ability to continue to work in their business, right? Or at some point, like when I notice entrepreneurs who are always sick, they always are, they've always got something going on with they either got a cold or the flu. They're always sick. And it's a surefire sign that they are just not paying attention to their health. Every single person, no one is too busy to take care of their body. No one, right? And for me, even when I see those things, and I actually used to feel bad, I'm just gonna be transparent. I used to feel bad about this, but when it started to become like an issue with some entrepreneurs, like not taking care of themselves and things like that, I would be leery to do business with them. That's just me personally. I'm leery because I'm like, how do I know they're going to be around to give me my money's worth? Like, I don't know. Should I connect in community? They're not taking care of themselves. So I got to think twice about spending my money with them. I got to think twice about collaborations. I got to think twice about a lot of things. And so I'm always aware of that. Now, there are some illnesses that they may or may not be aware of that happen to them and that change their lives, right? Or it's maybe something chronic or genetic and things that they don't have control over. Well, technically you have control over everything, really. But it may be something that they perceive that they don't have control over. And because of that, they allow it to constantly make them ill. Even beyond that, the way that you stretch out the life of your juice is you add things to it. Now, if you've never done a juice detox or you've done one before and you couldn't get past day 3, it's a surefire sign that you don't know how to stretch out your juice. You don't know how to make sure that you're putting the right stuff in it. So I'm going to share with you. I got a couple more things. Hold on. All right. So a couple things, right? First thing is you want to add more hydration to it. Best way you do that is aloe vera juice. Aloe vera juice is the number one way to add more hydration to your juices. If you are blending, if you don't have a juicer and you're deciding to blend things down and you're going to strain everything out through like a cheesecloth or a milk bag or something like that, you can stretch out you're not going to put all of these greens in the blender and just turn it on. You're going to need something to blend it down. You want to be thinking about something like aloe vera juice. You can also use water, but water tends to water the juice down itself, and it doesn't necessarily give you any nutrients or anything added back to your body. Aloe vera juice does that. Aloe vera juice actually gives you something back. So that's the first thing you want to do when you're stretching this out. If you're blending it, or even if you're drinking it, you can add the aloe vera juice to it and drink those together, okay? So you're going to still get more nutrients. You're going to still get more hydration from aloe vera juice, gel, or however you want to do it. So you want to add that to it. That's the first thing. Second thing is a green superfood powder. Now, you're probably like, but we just juiced all these greens. Why do we need green powder? Simply because if you live in the United States, even with all of this juicing and all the great stuff, the food is still lacking in nutrients tremendously because the soil is lacking. You always need a green supplement, whether you are juicing or whether you're eating regular food or not. You need something in your arsenal that will allow you to juice, to add green to it. The green that I use is called probiotic greens. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yep. Probiotic greens, and I get it from a company called Transparent. It is a vegan line of sports supplements, and they are the ones that I actually use and go to exclusively. Now, these greens actually double down on the nutrients that are in the green juice already. Plus, there's a bunch of other things in here like burdock root. There are things in here like spirulina, kelp. Those things I did not juice down that are not in my base. I get it through a green powder. The green powder is also where you get a lot of your, besides the juice, the green powder can extend your juice and give a lot more nutrients to it by adding anything that's been taken out. Some things when you juice them and throw away the pulp, sometimes, like for example, if you eat the kale, you're going to get a lot more from it than just the juice. The juice makes the nutrients more available, but the fact that we've gotten rid of all the pulp means we need this. So keep that in mind, right? So we're already working with something that came from soil that lacks nutrients, right? And then we went and took out some more of it, right? So keep that in mind when you're doing this. So you've got to add something that not only brings it back up to where it needs to be, but takes it beyond. And this, I promise you, when you add a green powder to your juice, you will feel significantly different. And you don't have that brain fog that people have when they're on a juice cleanse. I hope that makes sense. Let me go into the comments real quick. She says, that's me as well. I need cardio, mental, energy, focus. Yes. What's the recipe? Blend. Yeah, just juice. Yeah. You can blend it. She says, which brand of aloe vera juice? This one is Fruit of the Earth. I don't know if you guys can see that. Fruit of the Earth. All right. That's that one. So, and then these are transparent grains. So the prebiotic green. And then because I'm a gym head, right? I love going to the gym and messing with metal. I use BCAAs. I put BCAAs in my juice. I do not mess around, right? Because if I go on an extended cleanse, I don't want my muscles to go flat, right? I don't want my muscles to go flat. I don't want my glutes to go flat. I don't want my muscle tone to drop. And one of the things that, one of the issues that a lot of vegans have, and I've seen it, They may go from being very, very voluptuous and substantial people down to being really thin. Their muscles get flat, things like that. It's because they're not giving the amino acids what they need. Could be a combination of things, but in many cases, it's because they're not getting what they need to build strong muscles, right? You can get those on a vegan and plant-based diet or on juice too, but you got to be strategic about doing it. And so you can actually still do a high-level workout on a juice cleanse. Yes, you can. You can still do that, but you've got to make sure that you're getting the supplementation in, and the branched chain amino acids is a huge part of that. Huge part of that. Additionally, you will see me always have E3 Live, right? So if you don't have E3 Live in your, I'm trying to get this to where you guys can see it. I'm sorry if you can't. There you go. E3 Live. If you don't got E3 Live in your arsenal, you got to get it. All right. E3 Live actually has quite a few things in it that are just amazing, from spirulina to MSM. And since I'm juicing, these come in, let me show you guys this. These come in caplet form. When I'm juicing or when I'm cleansing, I have a lot of supplements. I do not want a lot of these little things in my body. I'm just being honest. I don't want a lot of these little things running around, not running around. I don't want to have to digest them. I don't want to have to worry about it. So what I do is I take 2 servings, right? And I open the capsules and I put them inside of the juice. So this really is your base, accessories, and then your accessories after that, right? So base, accessories, and then the other pieces to this your nutrition to make it make sense. And you're stacking or you're layering your nutrition, okay? And then I dump it all in to one big container, stir it up really good, and I'm good for the day. If I need to chew on something, because some people have stress and a lot of other things, then you need to be chewing on something like bee pollen, right? The granules. If you have never had bee pollen granules, or B vitamins or anything like that, then you want to take one of these granules and put it under your tongue and let it sit. Make sure you don't have a reaction. Most people don't have a reaction to them at all, but you definitely want to check before you just dump a tablespoon in your mouth and start chewing. Let me tell you something about this. So first of all, everybody needs a B vitamin. I don't care how you eat. Everybody needs some kind of B vitamin, okay? Everybody. Let me see. She says, what brand of aloe vera juice? Okay, you guys got that. She says, is there a certain kind of aloe vera juice? Oh, you guys got that already, right? She says, yep, soil is not bringing enough vitamins, minerals. No, it is not. Make sure you guys share this out so more people can jump on here. Lois says, how often should you detox? We're going to get to that in just a moment. And Sheila says, that happened to me. I lost all my muscles and they start. Yeah, girl, you need, mama, you need some branched chain amino acids, right? BCAAs, period, point blank. Period, point blank. You need this. You need this. That the one thing that will make me come off of a plant-based diet is if my glutes go flat. I am not one. You can look at any picture of me and see that everything is substantial. I'll say that. I don't want a rail body. I'm not made to have a skinny body. My hips are a 40. My chest is a 38, right? I'm a double D. I want to look like me. I don't want to look like nobody else. And looking like me and me being comfortable as me is so important to me. So the moment I see my glutes start to go flat, or the moment I see like not just going flat, like they're not like some people, for example, and I'm just going to show you guys mine, right? Some people, for example, like if you see my glutes are actually lifted. Like if I turn to the side, you can see that my glutes are lifted, right? Some people, when they first start, they get a dent down here and the glutes start to drop and then it starts to sag. That is not what you want. Like it should be lifted, if at all possible, round and high, right? So that's me personally. I like my glutes to look like that. If I ever see a line or a crease, gotta change some stuff, right? Gotta change some stuff because it's what I want to look like, right? So you have to do what's necessary for you and what you want to look like, okay? And then breast tissue may start to drop as well if you're not doing this right. You definitely don't want that to happen either. So yeah, you definitely don't want that. Yoga actually is a great way to start when you're cleansing and detoxing. It eases things up. It marries very well with juicing and raw food. It marries very well because you're eating high vibrational food and you're raising your vibration through the yoga, right? Like my energetically, my meditation energy in the morning is through the roof, right? I can get through ecstatic dance. I can get through meditation. I can get through visioning, shamanic visioning with my third eye. I can do so many things in the morning to show me what my next move in business is, who my next partnerships are going to be with. It is invaluable when you eat the right way, okay? So she says, how often should you detox? So you should be detoxing once a quarter. When the seasons change, you should be preparing your body once a quarter. And I mean like full cleaning out. Look at your friendships. And Lois, look at everything on the legacy wheel once a quarter. That will keep your life in check. That's why I created it like that. Look at every single thing on the legacy wheel once per quarter. And actually do the wheel. And for those of you who want that wheel, you can text in. Let me see if I can give this to you guys. I'll give you guys the legacy wheel. Let me see. No, don't text life. You're going to text in the word raw, okay? You're going to text the word raw in, and I will give you the legacy wheel with the directions on how to actually do it, okay? Now, if you get stuck, then you need to make sure that you get with a legacy health coach, right? Or you get into legacy in and of itself to get through the school so that you understand not just how to fix the wheel for yourself, but for other people. That wheel should be looked at once a quarter. You should be scoring yourself and then going on a cleanse with one of the new moons, period. At the start of the equinox, at the start of the solstices, you need to already have your journals in place. You need to already have all these pieces in place so that as you're doing this, as you're cleansing, let me tell you something. It is invaluable to your life and to your health to do it that way. Every single thing for us on the planet has been laid out, and I'm so grateful it works that way. Okay. I hope that helps, right? Yep. Text the word raw. Sorry. Let me move the banner. So you text the word raw to this number, and then you'll be able to get the legacy wheel, right? So for those who text in today or later, I'll make sure you guys get it. All right. So E3 Live, bee pollen granules, BCAAs, greens with probiotics in them. Those are the bee pollen granules, and these are just, on Amazon and some other places. The only other thing I do is vitamin greens, and I do vitamin earth. I don't know if you guys can see those, but they say vitamin earth in green. Vitamin earth. Okay. One is roots. So the earth one is all the brown stuff, burdock, ginger. That's the brown one. And green is all the greens. So any kind of greens. So then beyond that, I do anti-inflammatory stuff. So I do cayenne, right? This is a cayenne that I just bought, right? And then the last one I'm going to show you people, and then some kind of oil. That's another way to stretch your juice. You need to either add hemp oil, coconut oil, add some kind of oil to it to fill it out. If you're getting tired throughout the day and you're feeling kind of run down when you're just on juice, coconut oil right to the mouth, or some kind of oil right to the mouth to give yourself that fullness and that satisfaction usually helps. Okay. Let me run to the comments really quick. Greetings. I want my high school body back. Breast tissue dropped like crazy. Yep. Breast tissue doesn't technically doesn't necessarily recover. You can recover some of the firmness in the skin, but breast tissue doesn't typically recover that way. I can tell you from like a medical standpoint, it doesn't necessarily pop back up. Like they're not going to be vibrant and like when you were younger. I'll say it like that. But so there's other fixes for that, like surgery and things like that. The last thing I'm going to share with you guys is probably the most important. And I want you guys to get this. It is bioplasm. Can you guys see that? It says the 12. And please don't judge my nails because they are my nails and I can't take them off just yet. But I'm going to fix them. Bioplasm, 12 cell salts. All right. So if you are someone who thinks that your chakras are out of balance, if you are someone that thinks that you have several things in your, let me see how I can put this, natal chart stuff zodiac stuff. The 12 cell salts are representation. Everybody has some form of representation of different zodiac signs in their birth chart. That's why we brought somebody on here to help you guys understand that, okay? Your birth chart and all these different things that come along with you are all about how you get to know yourself. The 12 cell salts are actually, they actually correspond to the 12 zodiacs, and they help balance you out. Additionally, they correspond to different chakras as well. So they are not just for, so on here, you'll see it say for relief of symptoms of cold, nervous tension, fatigue, and headaches, but they do way more than that. So the cell salts are also very, 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 very important. They are very small tablets that just go under the tongue, and you dissolve several of them a day, right, to balance you out. All right. Good. She says, I use bioplasm too. Yay, 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 yay. All right. Let me see. All right. How do you use it? It goes, it's a tablet, goes under the tongue, right? And it just dissolves. Any more questions, you guys? She says, I have a pancake in the back with twin towers in the front. Don't say that. Your body can recover, right? You just gotta. So listen. So Sheila, this is how I think about this. Our body is always giving us information, right? Like I need to drink or eat at this point, right? But our body is always, always, always giving us feedback and information. That's the beautiful thing about it. And it's up to us to then go get the necessary information that our body is saying. Okay, for example, when your car needs gas, the light comes on and then you might hear a chime, right? It's telling you what it needs. Do you just ignore it, or do you go and get gas? At some point, you know that if you're going to use it in its most effective state, you're going to have to go get some gas, right? You're going to have to go gas up, right? Before you do anything. Even if you don't go anywhere that often, you definitely still need to go get gas at some point if you choose to go anywhere. The body's the same way. So it tells you what it needs by turning on, by making you feel a certain way, by showing you certain things, right? It's telling you what it needs, and it's up to us to then say, okay, let me see what I'm missing right now and give this to my body so that I can put it in the better state, so that it runs just as effectively as my car does when it needs gas. I hope that makes sense. Okay. How do you use it? What brand do you use of the bioplasm? It just says bioplasm. Oh, no. It's Highlands. I use the Highlands brand. Highlands bioplasm. All right. Now, I showed y'all what was in my pantry, right? So she says, what brand of bioplasm? Okay, so you guys got it. I just showed you. All right, so the last thing I'm going to say before I hop off so I can finish up my juice and drink is when you are supplementing, you never want to take everything all at once. Ever. So what I'm going to do is you're going to separate in your cabinet, right? I'm gonna teach you guys this, and then I'm gonna get off, right? Because I feel like I've given you a lot, right? And let me know if this is great information, because I'm always wondering, like, do they really want that? Is that useful, or is it useless? So you guys let me know in the comments if this is useful. And then as far as texting in raw, you want to make sure that number one, you text in if you want the legacy wheel and how to actually do that for your life. That's the first thing. Number two, someone's going to call you to welcome you to the tribe or thank you for being part of it. And they're going to tell you a little bit more about legacy, about this school and what we do and why I created this school. Okay. And then additionally, you're going to get extended the opportunity to go into Spring Into the Raw, which is happening on the 20th. It's an online Raw challenge that one of our amazing students at Legacy, Chef B, has put together for people who want to boost their energy and put themselves in a better place between the spring and summer. Okay. And so someone's going to give you a call and make sure that you understand how these things work to give you what you need. Right. And make sure you're on the right track, and that you know that you have access to what will put you on the right track, because access to insight is everything. Access to this information is everything. All right. She says, great info. I just started juicing, and this is very important because so many things I learned today. Yay. She says, yes, this is great info right here. Awesome. She says, what? Awesome. All right, you guys. So text raw in if you want that. But the last thing, like I said, I was going to say is when you're giving your body nutrition, you don't want your body to compete for it. Okay. You do not want the burdock root competing with spirulina. Got it? So although you might feel like a one a day is a good idea, or you might feel like a female multivitamin is a good idea, to me, it's a horrible idea because they lumped everything into one thing and you're taking it and your body competes to see, well, which one should we do? Should we take in the calcium, mag, and vitamin D for her bone health? Or should we take in the vitamin C and all the other stuff for her immune health? You never want your body competing for nutrients, so you break things up. This is also why mono meals are so important. You break the nutrition up so that your body's not competing at all. You're getting exactly what you need from that thing, okay? Yep, so you're getting exactly what you need from the thing that you're taking in. Never take, and people might fight me on this, I would never do roots with greens, not in juicing. Maybe carrots, steamed carrots and kale. Yeah, maybe that'll work. That's a root vegetable and that's a green. Yeah, so it works in some other dynamics. But when you're juicing, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you're getting everything as effectively as possible. So you're breaking things up. So in your cabinet, if you don't already yet, if you have a supplement cabinet, even if you just got one bottle in there, start paying attention to how things are separated out. So there is a morning section on my cabinet, and then there is an evening section in the cabinet, right? And then what happens is I make sure that when I take things, I move them to the back. So it's like a rotational kind of thing so that I keep up with everything and I'm not taking everything at once. I hope that helps. All right. So you never, ever, ever want your food continuing to do that. So she says, this is a good question right here. We're going to end on this one. All right. She says, are you saying how do you detox your vagina? Is that what you're saying? Because I got a mouthful about that. She says, this is great information. Thank you. Lois, let me know in the comments if that's what you're saying, because I can tell you quite a bit about that. Let me know in the comments. Everything from sweet tasting to tight to all that good stuff. All the stuff that the people who go down there like, right? Including you. So if that's what you're saying, let me know that. If that's what you're saying, Lois, let me know that. I'll wait. So any part of your physical body can be, so she says yes. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. Okay, great. So any part of your physical body or body system you can choose, and this is why it's important to be intentional with your juicing, right? So for example, for me, let me see how I want to address this. All right. So for me, reproductive health is huge, right? I like making sure that everything that distinguishes me as a female is well taken care of, right? Breast health, right? Vaginal health, right? Secretions, all of those different things to me have to be taken care of, because when you're in contact with someone else and using those parts, right? You are it's a powerful transfer of energy. And it is if she is well taken care of, there's such a powerful transfer of things, not just with her physically being next to him or her or whoever they choose, but also with her secretions and everything have tremendous nutrient density to it that she can pass on to him. Got it? Most women don't even know that, right? They're not even thinking about that. But when you're juicing, when you're doing things for your body, you want to be intentional. So for me, I said cardiovascular health, right? In the midst of some of this, though, vaginal health is going to be a part of it. But when you're specifically dealing with vaginal health, you want to be looking at things that are sweet, things that are fruity, things that are non-acidic, right? You don't want to insert anything. You want to decrease use of soap. Yes, I said it, because it naturally cleanses itself. And if it doesn't have, if for some reason you feel like it's not clean or you feel like it's not fresh, then they're more than likely it's time for a detox or a cleanse, or it's time to reduce some things. There are certain things that when you let go of, automatically your vagina becomes very, very happy. Those things are meat, especially pork and salted, like cold cuts and things like that. This also includes those soy meats or those fake vegan meats, right? Reduce those. So meats of any kind, soy, gluten, dairy, wheat, and corn. your body, especially your reproductive system, would love it if you just let those things go, or you brought those things down to severe moderation. When you kick up things like peaches, pears, plums, grapes, especially grape juice, grapefruit juice, orange juice, the citrus things, limes, lemons, right? When you kick these things up, peaches, pineapples, these are huge for vaginal detoxification and making sure that it not only smells proper, it tastes proper, right? So those are huge for that. So that's how you do it. You definitely want to avoid inserting anything into it unless you're doing some type of spiritual cleansing. So then you're getting into the yoni steams, the yoni eggs, and all those different things like that, right? I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. She says, yes, it is. She says, yes, absolutely. Yeah. So that's how you do that. Like in a quick, like in a nutshell or whatever. So you pick a body system, right? For some people, it's the gut. For some people, it's reproduction. For example, in this case, Lois, just as an example, just because it was brought up, if you were going to prepare yourself, like, for example, if somebody wanted to say, okay, they've been single for a long time and they want to meet a divine partner, you have to do things not just spiritually to prepare yourself for whoever that divine partner is, but there are physical things you do to yourself as well, right? Physical things might be putting a nightstand in your room for the other person, right? If you only got one nightstand, like me, I only got one nightstand because I want to focus on my business. When I'm ready to bring somebody else in, I'll pull the other nightstand out and prepare the space so that everything psychically, cosmically says I'm ready for a divine partner, right? When I'm not ready and I just want to stay focused for the moment, I do my environment in such a way that says I don't want nobody in my face, right? and I get served that way as well. And so if you were preparing for someone to come in, there is physical preparation, right? With the detoxing, there is spiritual preparation. You can do, some people do certain types of incense, candle work. Some people do a lot of different things, right? And then you write out this wish list of who you want. But it's hard to do that when a person is not focused, when they feel like they don't have the confidence to attract what they truly deserve and what they desire. They don't put certain things on a list, right? So it all kind of goes together when we really think about it. She says, oh my God, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And she said, this is excellent information. Yeah. All right, you guys, listen, I got to finish up my juice and hop off. Okay. It's been a pleasure sharing time and space. Remember, if you want the legacy wheel so that you can look at the different areas of your life to determine what should be in your base and then what you should be accessorizing with, you want to make sure you text RAW in the 678-585-6229. Tomorrow, there will be a raw food demo by Chef B. So make sure you tune in. It'll be around the same time as this one as well. But we want to make sure it matches with her schedule and yours too. So make sure you tune in. As always, before you hop off, make sure you put love and light to someone in the comments. This is the time that everybody needs it the most. If you didn't take notes, go catch the replay. It's certainly worth it. All right. Thanks so much for sharing time and space with me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.